this book, God's Children Are Little Broken Things. You know, first and foremost, I didn't want to read the book because the title felt I was going to be very sad. I just thought there's too many things going on in this title that, you know, then Bolu, who is actually my team member who is here, sent me a link to Alabama, you know, last year certainly. Yeah. I said, you will love this story. And I'm like, Gen Z fiction, I don't want to.
Oh God.
I've become an old man. I said, no, I don't know. No, I want to go read old books, Heinemann series. I don't want. I said, Chude, you would love it. And I read Alabama, and it messed with my mind. Wow. Just messed with my mind. It was intense, you know. And we're going to talk about that story because it's in this. So I was, you know, it's weird. When I heard the book, I was hoping that Alabama was in the collection because sometimes people do that. So that was the first time I read it. And then when the second one came, I'm like, maybe this was just a freak accident. You know, you want to preserve the memory of this excellent writer. You don't want to mess it up with other stories. And then a friend of mine said, you know what, and you know the person when I explained, said, oh, I read this book, you have to read it. And I said, why? So when he met you, he said to you, you're very brave. And he said, you said to him, brave?
Oh, God.
You know, it's like you were genuinely confused as to why he would think that you were brave. And he said, Chude, you have to read it. So I went and ordered it. And I started reading it, and I finished the first story, which I want to talk about. And I was just breathless. I'm very dramatic, but this is a real thing I did.
Yeah.
It was too much. Like, so, you know, I want to talk about that first story. And what made me breathless was the way that it ended. First story is The Dreamer's Litany. In case you're lost, this book is an official selection for Chude's Book Club. This book is an official, that means that when I interview people for books, they're not official selections. That means that, well, you know, you can do what you want with it. An official selection means you have to buy it and read it. This is the fourth official selection that we're doing. The first one was Swallow. The second one was Chimeka Garrick's The Broken People's Playlist. And the third one was Adobe Nwabani's Under the Baobab Tree. So this is our fourth official selection in our book club. The first thing I want to ask you about in this book is there was a sense that you were not going to explain yourself.
Yeah.
You know, was that deliberate? Like, I'm going to say what I'm saying, and I'm not going to try and explain it to you because it speaks for itself. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah, I think like with a lot of the stories, at least with this book, first and foremost, I was writing for mostly my own entertainment. So I'm like, I'm having fun here. I'm creating these worlds that I wish to see.
Yes.
I'm writing about these characters that have like inhabited my mind for quite some time and with whom I have like this sort of intimate relationship, right? And so like there was no need to sort of like explain things to anybody because I had like a perfect understanding between myself and my characters. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so that was like the sense.